WrestleTalk.
Jade Cargill has finally been called up from AEW to the main roster. What's happened, Luke?
You keep going,
Keep going, okay.
Keep going, it's fine.
I'm Ollie Davis. I'm joined by Lugo and DAD. We're both very sleepy because this is our Royal Rumble review episode. We were up all late last night watching it with a raucous crowd.
A very raucous crowd at the Long Arm Pub and Brewery in Shoreditch.
It was very, very fun. Thank you so much to everybody who came out to spend the night with us. It was, as always, incredibly special. If you haven't already, if you're joining us remotely, please press the thumbs up button. Give us a subscribe. Leave a comment down below with what you thought of this episode of Royal Rumble and send in your UltraChats to WrestleTalk.com/support.
The audio isn't working.
The audio isn't working. Damn it.
Hold on. Well, people were saying there's an echo, but I don't know.
Send in your to $5 and we'll read out every single one before the end of the show. Our monitoring is coming through okay. Hello.
Yeah, it's fine.
The
camera audio was also on.
Okay, so everyone could at least hear what I was saying anyway. We are going to first kick off talking about Jade Cargill and this Women's Royal Rumble, which for me was match of the night. I think, probably Logan Paul and Kevin Owens had the sort of most traditional, that's a good wrestling match. But the Women's Royal Rumble for me was the most fun experience. And a huge part of that was our number 28 entrant, currently listed on Wikipedia. So I don't think we should take that as, canon for the whole of WWE. But Jade Cargill is listed on there as a free agent.
Yeah, she's not signed with NXT, Raw, or SmackDown.
Or AEW.
I think that one seems unlikely. Could be Collision, I suppose.
So Jade Cargill made her main roster debut. She made her debut, period, because she's appeared backstage in a bunch of segments, not for a while.
No, so the report was that they brought her in with like a big, big plans and everything of what they wanted to do in terms of like, we're going to present her as an absolute star. We're going to make her seem like the biggest deal. She was on Raw, she was on SmackDown, she was on pay-per-views. And then the report is they saw her wrestling and were like, oh, we might have jumped the gun here a little bit. Let's give her a bit more time training. We'll hold off on anything until she's ready to go.
Usually that would mean, okay, you're going to go into NXT and you'll work your way up in NXT. I think they see the star power. She's got the TV notoriety from being on AEW already. So if you put her on NXT, no offense to NXT, I think that's a huge missed opportunity.
Me too.
So they're doing the right thing here because I feel like this debut was her arriving in WWE. She's going to be a Raw or SmackDown person, and she's probably going to get a feud at WrestleMania.
I mean, Bianca seems like an obvious choice in there. She had the stare-off with Bianca. They had the power spots sort of competing against each other. But there's also Nia Jax as a possibility because you had her eliminate Jax from the Rumble. And like Jax's role in this Rumble was to put over Jade Cargill. Jax came in, destroyed loads of people, eliminated loads of people, took like 8 people to try and get her over the ropes. She did the big Raw spot. No one could take out Nia Jax except for Jade Cargill.
They worked that really, really well because there were multiple very strong people in the Rumble. I was looking at the roster at one point, all the women in the ring, and I was like, this is a very different women's division when you see them all in one place. Because we, I keep bringing that up, we did a very deep dive into the 2014 Royal Rumble.
We sure did.
They didn't even have a women back then. Women weren't invented until about 2016 by Stephanie McMahon. And before then was the Divas era. And you had Beth Phoenix, of course, but everybody else was more of a model type person.
Even like Eve Torres, who was like MMA trained by the Gracies, was like, no, you just do basic things, please.
But here, like Jordynne Grace, Ivy Nile, Jade Cargill when she comes out.
Bianca Belair.
These are incredible athletes.
Yeah.
So Nia Jax, none of those athletes could get the better of Nia Jax. Piper Niven tries to hoist Nia Jax up, couldn't do it. We've been told for 28 people, Nia Jax came out at number 19. So we've been told for a third of this match, we've got Lady Show.
Yeah.
This the big lady.
Who could possibly take her over the top rope?
And Jade Cargill comes in, stares down, first act of the match, just hoists her over her head like it's effortless.
And then like she does a few things, eliminates her from the match. And they have this great moment, very good like camera work throughout the night. Particularly enjoyed one of the final moments of this match when after Bayley wins. And they had this shot of the final 4 entrants that got like taken out, just all sat there looking dumbfounded and annoyed that they got thrown out. It was a really clever shot. But that is an amazing moment where Jade Cargill eliminates Nia Jax, and she's there posing and flexing, and the camera just pans ever so slightly to the left to reveal that Becky Lynch is almost marking out because she's very thrilled to see that Nia Jax got eliminated so effortlessly as well.
I love that moment. I was just waiting for then Becky Lynch to turn to Jade Cargill and her expression of glee that Nia's been thrown out to go to one of horror. Oh my God, who is this person? Well, you shouldn't do that because she should know who Jade Cargill is. Oh my God, Jade's here, and now I've got to face her in the rest of this match. They didn't quite do that, but they kept on putting her over and having the not test of strength, but 2 competing displays of strength with Jade and Bianca Belair. Who was it? I think it was Tiffany Stratton and Liv Morgan. Both Bianca got Tiffany up, let's say, and Jade got Liv up, and they were just chucking these other women around.
Jade Cargill, I'm just going through like who she eliminated in this match, and she eliminated Nia Jax, and I'm pretty sure she eliminated Becky Lynch as well.
Well, what happened there is Becky Lynch found herself on the apron because of Jade Cargill. Naomi runs towards Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill catches her and sort of throws her around, and that kicks Becky Lynch off the apron.
Oh, right.
Technically, Naomi eliminated her.
That's what it says on Wikipedia as well.
In spirit, it was Jade. And then Jade just yeeted? Is that the correct use?
I mean, it's more correct than Jey Uso uses,
She yeeted Naomi over the top as well. So, yeah, Jade really is responsible for Nia, Becky, and Naomi. Naomi, huge returning star at number 2.
Becky, arguably the second biggest star on the roster in the women's division outside, underneath Rhea Ripley.
And one of the favorites to win this match, her and Bayley.
Yeah.
And then Jade finds herself in the final 3. It's her, Liv Morgan, Bayley. Bayley's been in from number 3 position. She's the Iron Woman here. And Jade is fighting them both off. She's in the middle. It was a great tense ending.
Yeah, I thought this was incredible presentation for Jade. I think Jade had been sort of like a firm favorite of surprise entrants. Like, if people were like, what are your predictions for surprise entrants? Jade was a name that came up quite a few times. And I'd said like, it's a perfect thing you do. You should go in there, eliminate a few people, and then have the spot where 9 people eliminate her. And you could put over, it took 9 people to eliminate Jade. But this was just a much better way of doing it. She went in there, she eliminated a bunch of people, and then she just lost fair and square. Like, it wasn't a case of, she took 9 people. No, she just got bested on the evening. But she looked like a total star coming out of it. Like, money presentation. I thought this was fantastic.
Still took 2 women to get rid of her, I would argue, at the end. And then, Bayley then pushed off Liv Morgan. Bayley wins. Well, hey, everyone's really happy.
And me especially, I was so pleased to see Bayley win. This felt like it was a night because Cody won the men's Rumble, and you had like the 2 heels win the other matches. So both of the Rumbles were there to sort of like nice bit of fan service. You give the win to Bayley, who's like everyone loves Bayley. She carried the company on her back during the pandemic, and you give it to Cody Rhodes, who, I'm not going to say everyone, but I'd say the majority of people wanted to see Cody Rhodes win. So I thought it was I really liked the Women's Rumble.
Yeah.
I've seen, amazingly, like, when I was listening to some reviews and kind of looking at some stuff online, it seems quite split in terms of what match people preferred. Because the women's match, we'll talk about the women's match sort of in general, as well as the Jade Cargill stuff. But it was sloppy. It was like... Craig on the Brian and Finney show said it felt like every woman went in there with a punch card that said you have to do 1 botch if you want to get paid. And she everything that Maxine tried, she effed up. Everything that Nia tried, she effed up. And it was like everyone went in there and just kept effing up moves left, right, and center.
Yeah, I really liked it when Maxine Dupree comes in and she goes for her, I think it was like a Hurricanrana, head scissors takedown. And she botched it.
Yep.
And then she stood up and she thought, all right, let's just do that again.
They
do the exact same spot again. She botches it again. And then she goes, let's not do that again. Shoosh! And she just hits the taunt. It's like, get back that power.
Should press the directional vector button on the D-pad.
Who the man?
Who the man? Like, so it was a bit botchy, a bit sloppy, but I thought the pacing of the women's match was so much better than the men's. I thought the men's match was so mid and kind of a bit meh, forgettable. Like, I'll probably never watch the men's match again. But I thought the women's one was really, really great.
Well, I think the men's match has Andrade, Carmelo Hayes, and then 13 other people.
Yeah.
I guess you've got Jay and Jimmy Uso. That was fun to start off with. But you've got the first half of that match, because it's only Cody, Gunther, Punk, Drew. They were the only people going in who could win it, really. Them not coming out until the 15th spot onwards means the first half is nothing. But the Women's Rumble was, like you said, a lot more spread. I'll go through the whole match so you can see. Because I think it might be the greatest 1 through 5 opening of any Rumble ever.
I think so as well. I actually am completely in agreement with you, because you've got a good mix there of returns, surprises, actual like big names, and fillers. Like it's a really good mix.
I don't know if anyone had fillers.
I know a lot of people had hair extensions. It's like a barber shop out there at one point.
So Natalia's first out, of course she is.
Breaking a record, I'd imagine.
Number 2, lights go off. I had my 3 count was that all the lights go off, and then you just see the shoes before the music hits. They did more of the traditional entrance. It's Naomi. She's back. She was number 2. It was really, really sweet because she gets in the ring and everyone's going crazy for her. It's been 20 months, I worked out. And she gets a bit overcome. And then she was like, come on, let's do this.
I also think, bearing in mind who then comes in at number 5, there was a moment where I was like, oh, it's amazing to see Naomi back in WWE. And I was even saying this on the live stream. I was like, she had a really good run in TNA. And one of the great things about that is that she did the business on the way out. She had a superb match with Jordynne Grace at Hard to Kill. Then a really good follow-up match on Impact. Her farewell match. What a great final opponent for her in TNA. And now she goes back to WWE, having done the business. And then, we'll go on.
Not finished with you. Bayley's number 3. She would go on to win it. So Bayley, that was a great... That's what the men's Rumble needed. It needed one of those favorites early on to tell a consistent story throughout. Candice LeRae, cool, someone there. And then, number 5, TNA Knockouts champion Jordynne Grace.
When the sirens hit...
Scott Steiner.
Well, I mean, it's Scott Steiner, right? or Little Petey Pump. I was kind of dumbfounded. I was like, oh, we're debuting a new character, maybe, with like a siren entrance theme. And then... I could almost feel like this ripple of recognition amongst the people behind us being like, it's like Jordynne Grace's theme. And then it was Jordynne Grace, TNA Knockouts champion Jordynne Grace was in the Royal Rumble and was in it for a while as well.
She was probably, obviously Jade Cargill had a lot of presence, but bit sloppy, I can look past that because I think she more than overcame that with just how she was presented. But Jordynne Grace in this Rumble, her physique, her presentation, the actual wrestling, how she could just effortlessly power people. Like Bianca Belair feels like super heroic in WWE. Jordynne Grace looked better and fresher than Belair did when Belair entered a few people later.
So the report is that they do have a working relationship, WWE and TNA. WWE were apparently, last weekend, were calling around lots of other companies to just be like, hey, do you want to do some stuff for the Rumble? Bring some people in. You can get a guest spot in the Rumble. And TNA were the ones that said, yeah, okay, we'll do it. We'll send over Jordynne Grace. So there is a working partnership, but there's no knowing of what way it goes. Are WWE going to send any talent to TNA? Are TNA going to send any more talent? Is Jordynne Grace going to come over and have a bit of a run in WWE? Or is this just a one-off cameo thing? It's just like hey, we're very friendly with one another, and we'll just send over. If I ever ask, can we have footage from your libraries for documentaries?
It's a new day, yes it is, because TNA's other highest ratings before their recent rebrand, which they've done very well with Hard to Kill's buy rate, was when they had the working relationship with AEW, and you've got Kenny Omega facing Rich Swann on episodes of TV. If they get the rub from WWE from this, and WWE just send a Bianca Belair to face Jordynne Grace on an episode of Impact, that could be far bigger for TNA than any AEW rating boost got them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, fingers crossed.
I don't think it will happen. Like, I think if they're going to send someone across, it'll be some, like, NXT talent, perhaps. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, they were referring to it, putting over TNA quite hard on this. Did you see Triple H's comments on the post-show? When someone asked him, and he was like, look, I'm not going to say anything about like doors or anything like that because I think that's very silly and stupid.
It's windows. We've broken through the window.
Petty asshole, Triple H.
Yeah, I just thought Jordynne Grace. It's weird because when I think Jordynne Grace, I think of like 2018 pre-bodybuilder Jordynne Grace.
Yes.
So I'm always surprised at how insanely muscular she is when you see her.
It was also impressive with that Jordynne Grace thing as well. In there for nearly 20 minutes, 0 eliminations, but you knew that she was there and she did loads of things. Compare that to, in the men's, Nakamura was in the Rumble for 20 minutes. I can't tell you a single thing he did.
I think he did this at one point.
He might have said, come on, to someone.
He did that to Cody. That was a good spot. So then we get Indy Hartwell, Asuka, she teams with Bayley.
Yeah, Bayley, there was a weird thing where Bayley was like, this wasn't part of the plan. What was your plan then?
And Asuka kept on like going to high five Bayley, Bayley going to high five Asuka, but then Asuka just like moves on to something else.
But not in a like dickish way. She wasn't doing it on purpose. I mean, she was, but it was staged so well that it looked like it was accidental.
Ivy Nile at number 8 to do some power spots. She did some stuff with Grace. Number 9, Katana Chance. This is where I've written, the women are so muscly. Number 10, Belair. She slightly trips doing a springboard into the ring. And then started doing some terrible strategy straight up to the second rope to start punching people.
Yeah.
And yes, she can backflip out of it when people tried to attack her. Keep your feet on the ground in a Rumble.
On the ground, mate.
Don't go anywhere near the top rope. We got Kairi Sane. So Damage Control members are all filling up now. They're taking control of the match. They get rid of Candice LeRae. Tegan Nox comes out. She has a bit of back and forth with Natalya. Natalya turns on her, but Nox throws her out instead. Then Bayley threw Nox out. Bayley got rid of a lot of people, 7 overall. Nia Jax got 8, though.
Yeah.
Kaden Carter, she did her dance on the way rather than running down to save her partner.
It's the Jeff Hardy move.
But then we had this crazy spot where Kairi Sane, I guess, got the closest this year, either match, got to a near elimination save spot.
I still can't work out what happened here. She seemed to get glitched into the ring.
Because it was on the LED apron board.
Yeah.
She became like she was getting sucked into the pixels.
Yeah, exactly. She sort of just glitched through it a little bit. She sort of clipped into the ring itself because she effectively just got stuck on the LED boards and like she was attached like by Velcro, and then just fell to the floor.
Yeah.
It looked like it was an accident, but clearly that's when she was supposed to be eliminated because Asuka was eliminated straight then after. Becky, by the way, keep doing this. Bayley, by the way, doing a lot of great saving Asuka, saving Sane, saving Asuka. MVP of Damage Control that no one else sees in the group. But she wasn't there enough to stop Asuka and Sane getting eliminated.
The former tag champs, Katana and Chance, got rid of Damage Control there. Chelsea Green's out. That was fun because they teased her getting eliminated right away. I thought Chelsea Green's performance in this was brilliantly comedic.
Particularly then when you had Piper Niven coming, she was next, and you had Nia Jax coming at number 19. And essentially Piper Niven and Nia Jax had a match that Chelsea Green kept getting accidentally involved in. So she just kept like getting squished in the corner between them or squished in the middle of the ring with them. And she did brilliant, wonderful comedy. It's like Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
Just a ragdolling around. It was so funny.
We got Xylee at 16, Zelina Vega at 17. I don't know what her cosplay was referencing.
Overwatch, I believe.
Overwatch. Which someone, it's fine for me not to know. But someone could have clued in Michael Cole. He essentially does the what a maneuver thing.
Yeah.
Look at this outfit.
What a cosplay.
Maxine Dupree at 18 botched
Poor Maxine.
the first move, the second, and the third. I've written in my notes.
I think Michael Cole said she was like vastly improved Maxine Dupree, or like most improved Maxine Dupree, or something like that. He gave her like this nickname, and she just bollocksed everything she tried. Bless her heart.
But don't worry, Maxine. Even you look good compared to number 19, Nia Jax.
Who also bollocksed everything. Nia Jax was screwing up body slams. You're Nia Jax. This is what you do.
I'm genuinely a big fan of Nia Jax. Even I cannot look past the sheer botchiness of this performance.
It was remarkable.
Yeah, she botched a body slam of Piper onto Green. I'm like, what's wrong with the way you're moving? You're dropping everyone on their hips.
Yep.
You can't lift anyone in one fluid motion over your head. Later on, when it gets to the Jade Cargill thing, it feels like Nia's just like, deal with me. Dead weight. When Jade gets Nia up, and Jade, because she's so strong, manages to muscle up a falling Nia Jax that she's losing purchase of over the top rope.
Yeah.
It was insane. I don't know what was up with Jax. Shotzi comes out. I saw John Gracie was watching this.
Oh, yeah.
And he posted on X at this point.
Please call it Twitter.
At the when the tank comes out, he just goes, I don't know who I was rooting for before, but now I'm rooting for the person in the tank. Becky Lynch at number 21. She gets rid of Chelsea Green in the best way possible. Chelsea Green is like hanging by one arm. Becky looks at it, just removes all of her fingers and buffs her head off.
So good.
Alba Fire next, then Shayna Baszler. Nia botches everything with Shayna Baszler. I don't think it's Shayna's fault.
There was a fun moment on the stream where at one point I said to Dan Layton, oh no, Becky Lynch's hair's come all asunder. Like, you know, she had a really good sort of like her ponytail was up and everything. She had a really good hairdo, but it's all come asunder. It's all over the place now. It's all falling apart. I was looking at Alba Fire. They were dressed the same and had the same haircut. And after a while, I was like, oh, I'm thinking of the wrong. Oh, no, that's not Bailey. No, that's Kaylee Ray right there.
I am being genuine about this next spot. This might be my favorite moment of the night.
Yeah.
Valhalla comes out at number 24. She's walking down to the ring. And then R-Truth just slowly jogs past her. And there's like R-Truth's old comedy buffoon of... I'm just stupid, big smiley face.
I'm going to get a ladder.
Yeah. That irritated me, if I'm honest. Truth running out this time. He's running out and he's like, wait a sec, what's Valhalla doing there? Like, he is... I cannot get over how great his performance is here.
And he gets down to the ring and he just says to one of the referees, where are all the guys?
He gets in the ring. Still like... Sure, okay, something's gonna figure itself out here. He gets in the ring. Nia Jax is standing opposite him. And he's like, oh, no, this isn't making any sense.
Well, they've got prior in Royal Rumbles together.
Yeah. I likened it in my review of, when you just like, you're not really thinking, you confidently walk into the toilets, burst through the door, you're in the ladies. That is what happened to R-Truth here. I thought he was brilliant.
It was great.
Nia eliminated him. Of course, Nia got all these eliminations to build herself for Nia Jax. No?
Jade Cargill.
It's my dream. A Nia Jax versus Nia Jax match. For Rhea Ripley, of course. Valhalla still allowed in, but because of all the commotion, she got chucked out. Adam Pearce was quite good here as well. Michin is in next. Naomi's been in for 48 minutes at this point. Zoe Stark next. Vega gets... lobbed out, and Alba Fire. Roxanne Perez. Nia botched catching Shayna's jumping armbar in this, and then like really uglily just lobs Shayna over the top rope.
Yeah.
Ugh. Powerbomb Shotzi over the top rope as well. If I'm Shotzi, I'm like, oh God, please. Praying on the way down.
Catch me.
Yeah. Then we got Jade, which was awesome, and she got rid of Nia. Tiffany Stratton out at number 29, reprises that Becky feud. I thought Stratton looked great.
And sets up stuff with Roxanne Perez down in NXT if Stratton's not getting it. But honestly, and I've said this multiple times on this podcast, but Stratton's ready for that main roster call-up. Like, she is just main roster ready. doesn't need to be toiling her time down in NXT. She did this swanton off the top rope until everyone's standing up to catch her, and it just looks beautiful.
She's Lady Breaker, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's ready.
Yeah.
Then we got number 30, and everyone was like, Sasha Banks. Like, oh, but it could be. And then it was Liv Morgan, and everyone was like, oh yeah, I guess yeah.
I said this in the live reaction. I was like, I mean, this is good. She's returning from injury,
and
you
know, she was arrested.
Oh, I forgot about that. yeah. She, so this is like a big bit of news. This is like a genuine big return for WWE, returning from injury, returning from arrest. She was the runner-up in last year's Rumble, but it really was a case of like, like the way that there's this crowd and like even our crowd, they treated like she was Zoe Stark.
Yeah,
like you're just like, I see her all the time. This is not a big deal.
The crowd in the building in the Royal Rumble building, our building, I thought, well, having watched bits back, because we couldn't hear, in the pub was so loud a lot of the time, loads of chants, it's hard to hear the actual crowd reaction. From what I've watched back, it's like these big moments happen, and that it's not really a pop.
No.
When CM Punk comes out, it's like, it's a pop, but it's not the pop of a man making his in-ring return after 10 years out.
It's not a 48,000 people sounding pop.
So yeah, a lot of things just didn't land with this crowd, unfortunately. And for once, I think WWE did most of the booking right.
I agree. It could be the building itself as well, because I think it's got quite a high ceiling. So there's a chance of like the sound just didn't travel as it would have done in a smaller building.
So then we had a full 30 people in.
At least Liv Morgan didn't get Rey Mysterio'd.
Yeah. We got the Jade stuff, which we've already covered. Tiffany hung off Belair's braid at one point, which was crazy.
Brutal.
Which I kind of had pitched, but it was Belair hanging off her own braid.
Yeah.
Bayley eliminated them both. Then we got to the final three. Bayley won, and we see shots of Io Sky and Rhea Ripley backstage. And it's like, I love how I can see where this storyline's going to go. Yeah,
so pleased that Bayley won. The crowd of the long arm went ballistic when Bayley won. It was a genuinely... I thought I really, really like this. I think it is the best women's Rumble that we've had thus far, and there have been some pretty good ones as well. But I just had such a good time with it. But like, botchiness aside, and there was like throughout, it was just like, sloppy as all get out. But I had so much fun with it. I think it was a really well-paced Rumble. It brought out its stars at the right moments, peppered them throughout. And what a strong division this has got. Not a lot of reliance on, like, 2 NXTs, one outside force in Jordynne Grace and Jade Cargill. So that's only really 4 names. It's 26 other people in there then. That's just like building up a roster across 2 separate brands. A really, really good Rumble.
It's my favorite women's Rumble.
Yeah, same.
And that's really cool to say and not have to feel like I'm posturing or anything. It's like Money in the Bank last year. I'm like, well, that's my favorite match of the night, was the women's Money in the Bank match.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about this Rumble. We will get into your chats shortly. We're just, our mods are gathering some of them. So let's go into, on Bayley. She's going to, Damage Control are going to be like, go for Ripley. And she'd be like, yeah, sure, I'll go for Ripley. Something's going to happen. So they're going to turn on her, and that's when she'll face Io Sky.
I wonder if they're going to do, bearing in mind this is Triple H head of creative, Batista in 04. Yeah, exactly. Doing the whole thing of just like, she's going to overhear them talking about her behind her back to be like, no, she's a big dumb idiot. Of course she's going to pick Rhea Ripley. Yeah. We can protect ourselves here.
Yeah. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for it.
Really,
predictability isn't a bad thing sometimes.
Same with the men's Rumble. Like, mid though it was, the Cody winning, I think, is the right move. But we'll get to that shortly.
I tell you where predictability is pretty bad, though.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns matches.
Oh, yeah.
Roman Reigns defending against Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and LA Knight. I was actually quite intrigued and excited for this match because, yeah, sure, it's another Roman title defense. It will have the usual spots. But it's a 4-way. That might make it a little bit quick, a little bit more rapid. There's always someone to run in and hit their next spot or move. Somehow, we got rest holds and Roman standing and jaw-jacking with the crowd spots. I'm like, This is one of the slowest four-ways I've seen in the modern era of wrestling.
This had big house show energy vibes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just sort of like, it was four big names, but at like 30%, like just a lot of, rest holds. A lot of people pointed out that I think LA Knight did 2 moves in this match because every other move he does is just punching people so the crowd can go, getting that sort of big house show energy stuff. And like, it was just fine as a match. I thought it was pretty like underwhelming for a Roman match. And it's gets hurt because what the crowd wanted to see was Roman versus Randy, but they didn't want to pin Randy. So we got just 2 extra bodies in there, distracting away from the match that people actually wanted to see, just so one of them can take the pin.
Yeah, I totally get the reasoning that don't do Randy Roman now, because Randy would have to lose. He's just come back in November. He's super hot. You don't want him to lose the first program. But at the same time, like, well, when's he going to have the singles match with Roman?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes Roman beating Randy here as a singles match, if you are going to do Roman Cody and Cody wins at Mania, I think that should be the way.
Yeah.
Randy, you've got the legacy history there. You can tie into that story. Randy's like, I couldn't beat him. I mean, yeah, this was a mistake in booking, and a mistake in booking this 4-way, and then a mistake of booking this kind of match, because it's so obviously a filler match. You then have to over-deliver with some really good action. And they did. They did not put on something that needed to jump over a very low bar.
And it did not help in the fact that it had every finish to a Roman Reigns title match that you've ever seen.
Oh, this one didn't, though. It had every midpoint of a Roman Reigns match.
But in terms of the babyface runs wild, in this case, Randy Orton hits his RKO on AJ Styles, hits the RKO on LA Knight. Roman goes to hit the spear. Randy hits the RKO on him, has the visual pin. But you'll never guess what happened. A hooded figure shows up at ringside and pulls the referee out of the ring and takes off the hood to reveal it. Of course it's Solo. Why was Solo in disguise?
Yeah, at this point, I'm not going to confuse him for Logan Paul's mate.
Jeff in a white tee.
Jeff in a white tee. But that was like sort of the middle of the match then, I think, because then AJ Styles gets a chair. Solo goes through the barricade. AJ Styles is running wild with a chair. And then Roman is fighting LA Knight. AJ's on the apron. He goes up for the phenomenal forearm. Roman pushes LA Knight into the ropes. That sends AJ coming down off the springboard. Roman spears him. 1, 2, 3. And someone next to me in the watch party just said, oh, well, at least Roman won clean. I was like, no, he didn't win clean.
Randy won the match. He had the visual pin.
So I was very underwhelmed with this match, and that's not what Roman's title reign needs right now. I want Roman's title reign to be hot going into Mania, not this past its sell-by date in July.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, this it's not felt special, this title reign, since SummerSlam. Like, I think that was probably at its peak, and even then that SummerSlam match, I think, did some damage to it because you just put Jimmy back in the bloodline. The other thing I think this match did that hurt the show, and I'm going to credit Tempest for this because he's the one who pointed it out. You had 2 less names for the Rumble. Like two big names on the SmackDown side of things. So really the biggest name on the SmackDown side of things in the Men's Rumble was like Austin Theory. Like, it was just like maybe Bobby Lashley, I suppose, but he kind of feels like he's in this mid-card feud with Karrion Kross. So they felt like SmackDown had no stars in the Rumble, which is why it felt so much like a Raw match.
That's a really good point. And LA Knight in the Rumble,
that
would have got the crowd alive, because they certainly like to say yeah.
I think it's a mistake on quite a few levels, this match, unfortunately.
Logan Paul took on Kevin Owens, defending his US title afterwards. This, however, was exactly what I thought it would be, and still overperformed.
Yeah, I agree. This is really, really good.
So it's just a very simple story. Logan Paul is, annoyingly talented, and he kind of, he's had an easy path through life, is the story I kind of invented in my head. Whereas Kevin Owens, he's a scrapper. He's a hustler. He's also got an injured hand. So Logan can easily work over the hand.
Logan Paul was punching the hand of Kevin Owens he was using his hand to hurt Kevin Owens' hand.
I can't find a note, but there was one bit where it really felt like, oh, here we go. Logan Paul did this, that, you know, when he comes off the ropes and he brings his leg up and he does the splits leg drop.
Yeah.
And then he makes the pin. It was a really cocky pin, like, look at me, I'm so naturally gifted. And then Kevin Owens kicked out and then just slapped him across the face. I thought, in one moment, what a wonderful encapsulation of both men's characters and the conflict between them.
Yeah.
And at the start, Logan went to shake KO's hand. Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Fan of Ring of Honor from 2010.
Just look at that code of honor, man. It's mad impressive that Logan Paul, because I think this is like his 9th match. Like, that is nuts at how just good he is at this. And I thought he was really, really great in this match. And they had, I thought, a really good finish to this as well. I really liked the finish of this. Because you had Jeff, who...
in the white tee.
Jeff in a white tee.
Use his full name.
Yeah, well, I believe... Is that his name? Jeff in a white tee?
Yeah, I don't know...
Or Jeff in the white tee?
In a white tee.
And a white tee.
No, not Anna White.
But Jeff in a white tee hops the barricade, and Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, the trio of pricks, just like coming together. And in the kerfuffle of all of this, they hand Logan Paul the brass knucks. Jeff in a white tee, by the way, is also the person who gave the brass knucks, or got the brass knucks involved, that allowed Logan to win the title in the first place off Rey Mysterio. So the cavalcade of knobs get sort of, you know, chartered to the back.
Title of your section.
The brass knucks remain there. Logan Paul goes to hit Kevin Owens with the brass knucks, but Owens stops that, and he uses the brass knucks himself. So Kevin Owens has done his own power of the punch. This whole match has been built around his hand, and he's then used his hand to knock out Logan Paul. He gets the pin. The ref counts 1. The ref counts 2. But as he's going to count the 3, he just points at the brass knucks on Owens' hand, and he calls for a DQ. And the way they framed this, the way they filmed this, the way that it just slightly zoomed in on the knucks to show what the referee was looking at, I thought was brilliantly done.
Yeah. I bought it, because I wasn't watching the referee.
Yeah.
I was watching Logan's shoulders, and Logan did not kick out on that when that 3 would have been made. And I was like, they're changing the title. I legit got worked and bought into KO winning.
Same here. And
then to have the rug pulled out from underneath my feet was exhilarating to be worked like that. I really like it as a finish. And it protects KO. It still gets over Logan. And Logan, although he, you know, lucked his way to a DQ retention here and was going to try and cheat himself anyway, he went through a war. There is an element of respect on what he did physically. His chest was all sort of reddened up. He was bleeding from the nose. He looked oddly pale. Like, he puts a shift in these matches.
Yeah.
And just from a character thing, I love that KO wasn't a good enough cheater.
Yeah.
Because someone said it in the live chat. Regal would have pocketed those knucks.
Yeah, absolutely would have done.
Thrown them away. KO's a brawler.
Yeah.
Like, he's just going to fight with you.
And
he doesn't think about that part.
Just dove into the pin, just went in there, not thinking to get caught, and he did get caught. I thought it was a really creative finish. I thought the interference and everything was so good. It actually annoyed me even more they had the Solo Sikoa interference. Because he basically did more or less the same finish in both matches with sort of like the visual pin and this and the other. And I think it ruined the solo thing even more. By the way, like, you know, I know we've sort of moved on from this, but I think they've dropped the ball hugely with Solo Sikoa since that John Cena squash.
Oh my God, yeah, just beating him on TV.
Beating him on TV, just like, it just doesn't feel, like, this guy squashed John Cena like a few months ago, and he's just a body. And he wasn't like, not even the Rumble, just an interference henchman. Like, he's just Bebop and Rocksteady for Roman. I think it's a real shame.
Because Triple H is a smart booker, even though Logan Paul, the heel, retained via DQ in this finish, Kevin Owens put him through a table afterwards.
Hey!
It's a way to get the crowd to cheer you. We'll do all the chats at the end. We might as well now. We're just having a few issues getting all the UltraChats together. But keep sending them in to WrestleTalk.com/support. We'll read out every single one over $5 while we cover the main event, which was the men's Rumble match. Number 1 and number 2, Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso.
So this had been pitched to me while we were at the watch party. I was just sort of walking through, and I was chatting to some guys. Paul was the chap's name. He said, "Here's my pitch: Jay's number 1, Jimmy's number 2, Rikishi's number 3."
Brilliant.
And I was like, I really enjoyed Jimmy and Jay at number 1 and 2. I was like, the addition of Rikishi is great in all of this. And then Jimmy and Jay were number 1 and number 2. Rikishi was not number 3, unfortunately.
Imagine if he comes out and he's like, "You kids, stop fighting!" And they're like, "Well, no, you stop fighting. You listen to me. I'm your dad." And he hands them both a pair of shades.
I was going to say, you did it too cool.
What a way to undermine such a beautifully told story over years and years. Dance time.
Yeah, I like the two of them starting together. If we are going to build to this WrestleMania match, you need to heat this back up, because I think it's gone hugely off the boil. I don't think it's a match that people are particularly interested in.
I don't think so either. Sometimes, I've got no interest in ever seeing Jeff and Matt Hardy wrestle.
Yeah.
Never had any interest in Kane and Undertaker. I know they're not real brothers. Edge and Christian, I thought I didn't have any interest wrestling, but actually, turns out I do.
Yeah.
Dudley's, there's some tag teams I just don't want to see wrestle each other.
I don't want to see Road Dogg have a match with Billy Gunn.
Yeah,
But yeah, and Jimmy and Jay is one of those. I'm not that arsed on them having a match at WrestleMania.
But Philadelphia is where WrestleMania is. City of brotherly love.
Yeah,
it's very poetically apt.
Sure does.
So they're 1 and 2. Jimmy has this long-running shtick while he's going through any heel that comes out, because Grayson Waller's number 3. That is a letdown if you're looking for a Rikishi, by the way. And I'm a big fan of Grayson Waller, actually, but,
But Grayson Waller is, I think, going to be quite indicative of this Rumble itself, of just how mid-card a lot of this Rumble got. It's not 2022 in terms of mid-card rubbishness, but there's a lot of this Rumble that is filled with nothing. Mm-hmm. Guys in there for a long time, doing nothing, and then just being thrown out.
Yeah, because it's not just the star power and the overuse of mid-carders. It's also the spots and the creativity of when people come in and interact with each other just seem to be a bit lacking compared to the top-tier Rumbles.
I think history will look back at this Rumble and think the women were the main events. Mm-hmm. Now we did 2019. Everyone thinks that Becky Lynch's Rumble's the main event of that show, but it's not. It's the men's one's the main event.
I don't know. I think Punk and Cody will be something that lives in everyone's minds, mostly because it went on too long.
And what they'll probably say is what I'm going to say later on, which is it was a poor version of last year's.
Yeah. So Grayson Waller's in. So Jimmy, every heel that comes in that starts to seemingly work with him, he goes for a little high five, and every single one of them just goes, "Nah, it's all right." Yeah,
I mean, this is the other thing with the Jimmy J thing, is that it's supposed to be this sort of and Jimmy comes out and it's a serious blood feud between Jimmy and Jay. The second that he's not doing stuff with Jay, he's goofy Jimmy Uso.
He's so good at He's so good at goofy Jimmy Uso.
He's great at it. It's really funny. But what is your character? Mm-hmm. Are you this guy that turned your back on your brother and broke up one of the greatest tag teams in WWE history? The guy who left the Bloodline, the first one of you to leave the Bloodline, only to go crawling back to it? Or are you R-Truth but on SmackDown? Which one are you?
Yeah. So I was just looking for my favorite Jimmy spot. Ivar comes in number 19. It looks like they're going to work together. Jimmy goes for the handshake. Ivar just chops him down instead. Jimmy lands on the floor and just punches the floor in frustration. Why doesn't anyone like me? It was so well done. So we get Andrade at number 4. I'm like, oh wow, this has a similar momentum as the start of the Women's Rumble.
Yeah,
I kind of forgot about Andrade.
Well, yeah, because he got in and didn't, 23 minutes, 0 eliminations. A guy in there a long time didn't do a great deal. He had a moment with Santos Escobar, which I thought was pretty good, but really it was just a case of Andrade is back, and it's AEW presentation Andrade as well, because he came with the mask and everything. But not as under the El Idolo name, just back to being Andrade.
I more meant that I forgot Andrade was a potential surprise.
Oh, I see.
But I totally agree. When he came in, I was like, oh my God, Triple H is booking, Andrade's here. He wasn't happy with what he was doing in AEW, so
which is having to lose.
So surely he's going to get a really good presentation here. And I was like, this is a bit underwhelming with your, like you said, 20 minutes of nothing.
Yeah.
And then he's just pretty unceremoniously eliminated.
Yeah.
If I was Andrade, I'd look at how I was booked in that Rumble and be a bit worried at the new bet I just made.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think this company sees him as where he thinks he is at either, especially without Charlotte Flair.
Possibly, yeah. Unless, of course, he's going to start a big feud with Bronson Reed.
Carmelo Hayes then comes out at number 5. That was, he got the biggest pop, I think. Probably more than Andrade. And he worked really well, I thought, throughout the whole time.
Really good.
Then we hit the mid-card stretch.
It is, yeah. It's pretty much from 6 until 15 when Cody comes out.
Yeah, so we've got Nakamura, Santos Escobar, Karrion Kross, Dominic Mysterio, Carlito at number 10, not Ty Dillinger. Come on, just give the guy a call. Bobby Lashley at 11, AOP and Karrion Kross sort of dragged him out. Ludwig Kaiser at 12, Austin Theory at 13, Finn Balor at 14. And it's just like, but a lot of those guys I really like. Like Ludwig Kaiser, I'm really into at the moment. But it was just guy after guy who I know won't win and who didn't do anything creative.
That's it. That's exactly it, right? Like, it's just, these are just bodies to be in the ring, which is weird as well, because like all of the hype going into this Rumble, and this is the hype that I've certainly felt as well. It's a Rumble. It's like, man, there's so many potential winners of this Rumble. Really, there were 4 potential winners of this Rumble. That means there's 26 other people that are just bodies within this Rumble, but they didn't pace them all out. Because you had Cody at 15, and then you don't get another big name until 27.
I
was Gunther in there. Gunther at
18.
18, do apologize. So after Gunther, then you have to go another 10 guys before you get to CM Punk. That's the pacing side of this. You had Cody and Gunther so close to each other. I kind of wish they had gone with the fan pitch of having Cody and Gunther as 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah. Or I would have actually preferred Cody at 1, Gunther at 30.
Yeah.
Just to reverse those. I think the crowd would have reacted better to Gunther at number 30 than Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Because at least it feels like someone who could win.
Yeah, I agree.
So Cody comes out. He eliminates his own weight belt. Damn it! I didn't write that in my script. I wrote that joke last night.
It's a good joke as well.
I was really happy when I wrote, he takes it off, he throws it over the top rope.
Also, Cody Rhodes, coming in at number 15, gets his full entrance, the full AR graphic up and everything, pyro going round. And I turned to the guy next to me, I was like, well, he's winning.
It wasn't just that, was it? It was so many times they put over. Wow. Only 3 people in history have won it back-to-back years.
I've been saying on the podcast, they've been hammering this home so much that he's either doing it or he's for sure not doing it, because they're hammering it home so much. As it turns out, it was the former, because they're looking to set new records in this new era of WWE. But yeah, like when Cody came out, it was fairly obvious that he was winning this thing.
Number 16, Bronson Reed comes out, and he has a good run. And this is where Andrade just gets chucked out.
Yeah. Like
nothing. Like, he had a little bit of back and forth with Escobar, but no feud set up. No cool spots.
Compare that with Jordynne Grace.
Yeah.
I felt like Jordynne Grace came in. She's not even with the company. she started like 5. I've seen people in the live chat like fantasy booking what you can do with Jordynne Grace. I haven't seen anyone fantasy booking what you can do with Andrade.
Yeah. Another one like that is number 17, Kofi Kingston. He has a little bit of a run, but nothing of note. And then he is also just eliminated a bit later on. And I thought, he's going to jump onto someone's back. Oh, no, just 2 feet on the ground.
Yeah. And it's not even a little bit later on. 3.5 minutes he was in this Rumble.
Wow.
He was in and then he was out. And yet it was just, out you go. No Kofi spot, nothing.
And there was no spot for anybody else either. Like Ricochet didn't get the all-near save kind of moment.
He wasn't in long enough.
The best near save, like we said, was Kairi Sane sticking to a 2D sheer 90-degree angle wall.
It's like those Garfields you used to get on car windows.
But number 18 was Gunther. And this for me, for the rest of the match, I finally had something to sink my teeth into. Because as long as Gunther was in there and Cody was in there, they kept coming back to each other. It's what I really like about the 04 Rumble. It's like, I think it's the 04 Rumble. Yeah, it is, isn't it? because it's just Benoit, who was in there from the start, and then Kurt Angle when he comes in, and they just keep going back to fight each other, and it just feels like in their heads they're still wrestling the end of last year's match.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. And Gunther just shot everybody, and he body slammed Bronson Reed with ease. 19 was Ivar. We got more meat. Number 20 was a notable spot because we're picking up here. Bron Breakker.
So this is, I think, Bron Breakker is a really good example to look at here in terms of maximizing your minutes. Considering that Shinsuke Nakamura was in this like 4 times as long as Bron Breakker was and did nothing of note. Bron Breakker was only in this Royal Rumble for 5 minutes.
Are you kidding?
He's in here for 5 minutes. He's in 9 seconds longer than Ricochet is. And Bron Breakker maximized his minutes. And he looked rad. So the report is this was supposed to be Lesnar. This was the spot that Lesnar was in, but because of everything that happened for Thursday and Friday, Lesnar's was cancelled. He was pulled from this Rumble, so they needed to bring someone in. So they brought in Bron Breakker. But because the Rumble had been scripted out and plotted out and was kind of locked in, they couldn't really do many changes. So they just put Bron Breakker in, gave him all of Brock's eliminations, all of Brock's spots, and the person that Brock would have been eliminated by, which was Dominic Mysterio. So we nearly lived in a world where Brock Lesnar was eliminated by Dominic Mysterio. But Bron came in and was awesome. He just speared everyone, and he looked rad doing it.
At one point, he ran the ropes, and I thought the network was glitching. When online stream lags. Oh, we weren't even watching it on a network stream, watching it on broadcast. But when the stream lags a bit, and then it goes a bit too fast to catch up with itself. That is the just unbelievable. Like, my mind would not accept how fast Bron Breakker, a man of that size, was coming off the ropes.
Apparently, it's 23 miles an hour.
Yeah, they said on commentary.
Yeah, it's insane.
So, pretty slow for a car, but pretty fast for a human
Not around
being.
London, mate. That's a standard speed limit everywhere around here.
You, Les!
Sod your clean air. I want to go 10 miles an hour faster and get there quicker.
Sod your children and
your
safety standards.
And your future of the planet.
It's very London-centric banter. So, yeah, Bron Breakker comes out. Just awesome. And he faces off against Gunther and just overhead presses Gunther.
Again,
Bron Breakker is the Jade Cargill of the Men's Royal Rumble.
And
Gunther is Nia Jax.
And there's your Brock spot. It was supposed to be a stare down between Brock and Gunther, probably to set up that IC title match for Mania. But I wonder if you just do Bron now.
Oh, man. I thought, of all the people who could dethrone Gunther, why not?
Why not?
Why not Breakker?
Yeah.
And then just let Gunther win the championship from Seth Rollins.
Yeah. A Bash at Berlin.
Yeah.
Or Punk.
We went from the fastest guy to the slowest because Amos was out next.
Of course Amos was in this Rumble.
Bron speared Ivar out of midair at this point. Incredible moment.
Ivar did his, where he jumps up onto the second rope and goes around to do a crossbody, and Bron just speared him out of midair. Best spear in the game.
I liked the next spot. It was Pat McAfee, number 22. It almost caught him by surprise. His music played and he's on commentary. He's like, well, I guess I'm in the Rumble.
I thought this was the Brock spot in terms of we've only got 29 guys. Pat can just go in there, don't do anything and come back out. We're up to 30. That's that problem solved. But apparently it's Bron. Because, Pat gets in and he sees, is it Amos and Breakker?
It's Amos and Bron Breakker.
He sees Amos and Bron Breakker. And so he just eliminates himself, or he jumps over the top rope onto the apron, and then the crowd boo him a little bit. So he gets back in, looks at the two, and eliminates himself and leaves. I thought this was rubbish. Absolutely crap.
Would it have been better if it was Brock Lesnar instead of Bron?
No, I didn't think that Brock Lesnar was going to get in. Oh, right, I see what you mean. Sorry, if it was Brock Lesnar and Amos, and he was just no, I still think it was crap. This is in a match that needed some star power and needed some presence in there. This is a completely wasted spot.
But who else are you going to use?
Chad Gable.
Star power.
In terms of but going in there, doing some amazing spots, going in there, working with Ivar, working with Bron Breakker,
There's
working with
plenty of great wrestlers in the mid-card section, but they just didn't have the spots to do it.
Okay, in which case, I'll look at this whole Rumble. Book it better.
Yes, that's what we're talking about.
Because I thought this was a good... Him and Amos, Pat McAfee and Amos back-to-back, totally wasted spots in this Rumble.
I am obviously in the minority because I have heard nothing but intense criticism for this. I got a kick out of it. I thought Pat McAfee was quite funny.
A football kick, perhaps?
23, JD McDonough. Bron destroyed him with a spear. R-Truth comes out at number 24 because in the right gendered match this time. And he helps JD McDonough back into the ring after that Bron spear because the spear was on the outside when Bron was leaving because Dom eliminated Bron Breakker. And JD was immediately eliminated by R-Truth.
Yeah.
Sorry, by Jey Uso. And then R-Truth hops up onto the apron as if this is a tag match.
It was so funny.
And he's like to Dom, come on, hot tag me. And Gunther gets Dom in the sleeper.
Oh, the great thing about this is that Dom originally looks at Truth and like, what are you doing? Because it's not a tag match, Robin. And then Gunther gets the sleeper in. So Dom builds to the hot tag and genuinely jumps to leap to get the hot tag from Truth.
And he got the hot tag and the crowd exploded like it was a hot tag. It was a wonderful piece of comedy. Triple H's sense of humor in this premium live event, I think, was on point.
Yeah,
because sometimes he doesn't share the same humor. It goes a bit weird, but I thought all the goofy spots were very, very good.
I saw the comedy segments he did in 1999. I do think that my comedy differs from his. I
rewatched Katie Vick last week. It's a long way to get for a screwed her brains out joke. It's 5 minutes long. R-Truth ran wild. The Miz comes out at number 25. You get some fun, awesome Truth moments. Damian Priest at number 26 just chucks Truth out. He's had enough of it.
He's had enough of his shenanigans.
I've written here, if he won the Rumble, would he ever properly cash that in?
Probably forgot he had it.
Number 27, here we go. It's my boy. It's CM Punk.
Lucky number 27.
And they cut to a camera shot. Presumably, when they set it up, it showed everyone in the grand scope of this stadium. But people had stood up now, and you could only see people's faces going,
Not the best shot I've ever seen for an entrance.
But yeah, CM Punk, first time back into a WWE ring properly, on televised at least, in 10 years. And the crowd were just like, cool.
Great. Nice to have you here. Cheers, Phil.
Yeah, where were the big CM Punk chants?
I think, do you know what? I don't know this for certain, I'm just spitballing ideas here. I think the crowd are a bit burnt out because this Rumble just wasn't very good. And it was just so much mid-filler that you have Punk come out at the end. I think people was like, oh, okay, I guess Punk.
Ricochet was out at number 28.
Case in point.
Sure. Gunther at this point eliminated Miz by a massive chop off the top rope. It was beautiful. 29, Drew McIntyre. Gunther eliminates Jey Uso at this point. At number 30, I'm like, well, it's probably Sami Zayn, but I've been saying all day, look, if WWE and Endeavor and TKO wanted to push certain news stories down the news cycle, having The Rock come out at number 30 and win would be a pretty good way to do it. But it was Sami Zayn.
Yeah, and given Triple H's performance at the post-show press conference, I think they really could have done with some news stories to push down.
Headlines.
Yeah, because his performance has been picked up by mainstream.
Has it?
Yeah, I've seen that the Mail are covering it, and it's, because you can attach it to the story from last week. But yeah, they really could have done with a big, hey, The Rock's here.
Well, maybe if he read the lawsuit, he'd realise what a serious predicament it is.
We're talking about that because Natalia had this thing. It was like, look, we've all read what you've all read, and and then Triple H said like, oh, I haven't read the lawsuit. Cody also said, look, we've all read what you've read. So I'm like, Cody's read it. Natalia's read it. Triple H hasn't read it.
Yeah, so number 30 was Sami Zayn. There's lots of people in the ring. They're all Raw. They're all Monday Night Raw apart from Ricochet.
Here's a fun fact for you. I didn't even register this at the time. there wasn't a SmackDown entrant from 14 onwards. There are 3 from 14 through to 30. There are only 3 names that are not from Raw, and it's Bron Breakker, Omos, and Pat McAfee.
That is ridiculous.
14 through 30.
The second half.
It's the second half of the Rumble is just Raw. That is the problem with having it. And there's not even that many SmackDown lads in this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 SmackDown guys in this whole Rumble.
I think, this was the
People
Royal
in the chat
Rumble.
were having a pop at me the other day. Was like, why do you think the Royal Rumble's just such a Raw thing? Because this was clearly laid out to be a Raw match.
And it's all to challenge for the SmackDown title.
Sorry, Seth.
So Ricochet's gotten out. So then we really are just Monday Night Raw. We've got Cody, Sammy, Drew, Gunther, Punk, Priest. I'm like, yes, this is what the build was. I wish the rest of the match shared them out a bit more.
That's it. The match doesn't really pick up again until, Punk comes out at 27. But even like Sami Zayn at 30, he's only there for 3 minutes.
Yeah, so Sammy pushes out Priest, then Drew eliminates Zayn. So then we've got Gunther, Cody, Drew, and Punk.
Perfect.
Those are the 4. Those are the 4 favorites.
Always be the final 4.
I wrote, this is the real fatal 4-way.
Yeah.
Like, screw you, UU championship match. And at this point, we start to get shots of Seth Rollins in a box watching on. Roman Reigns is somewhere in the crowd with Paul Heyman. Yeah. It was a really nice presentation to up the stakes. Cody and Gunther are going at it because they've got this eternal Rumble feud. Drew and Punk are going at it because of their great interactions over the weeks. And Drew runs wild. He hits a Claymore on Gunther, Claymore on Cody, then a Claymore on CM Punk. And I just went, yeah, he's getting eliminated.
Thanks for coming, Drew.
So he started to shout at Punk, and that momentarily lapse of concentration was enough for Punk to chuck out Drew.
Yeah.
And then not long after that, Cody pulled Gunther over the top rope and eliminated Gunther. I hope this is a long-running story over the next 20 years that Cody always eliminates Gunther.
That'd be really good, yeah.
So we're left with Cody and Punk, which is, for me, that's definitely the right ending after that brilliant segment on the Go Home Raw.
So good.
So this is, we then get 8 minutes of Cody and Punk. And the crowd weren't hot for this. Not like nowhere near the level of last year with Cody and Gunther. And I also, and this is coming from a Punk guy, he wasn't at his best. He was a bit botchy McBotchersome.
Yeah. Although that's fairly, that's
yeah, that's actually pretty stat. That's 2011. CM Punk's a bit like that.
It's like, Nia Jax just comes in like Botch is just part of who she is. That's Phil.
Yeah, but then also he did look like noticeably fatigued.
Yeah,
and he came in at 27.
Well, the reports when he had the 13-minute match with Dominic Mysterio on the house shows, he was completely gassed out. Early doors in that as well,
which was mostly house show gesturing and stuff.
Gesturing and stalling for time, but he was gassed out during that. So it's unsurprising. Dan Layton he quite liked this Rumble, and he really enjoyed this ending. But for me, it was, I thought it was just a poor man's version of last year's with Cody and Gunther. And I love Punk, and I think that Punk's going to do great stuff in WWE. I think they're going to do the triple threat at Mania now. I'm kind of set on that of doing Drew, Punk, and Seth for the title. But yeah, I thought this was fine. I just thought it was okay.
I'm just surprised by it because on paper going in, probably exactly what I would have said to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it just didn't feel like it clicked when we got down to the final 2. It did in points. Cody did the bionic elbow for his dad. And that's when Punk, to me, started to transition into more of a heel role. He started to point at the WrestleMania sign, and then he clued up, oh, that's making the crowd actually wake up a bit and they'll boo me. And then he hit a pedigree.
You know what you're doing.
Very loaded move. And then off mic he says, what was it?
I didn't wait 10 years to lose to Dusty's kid.
And you're like, dude, you were saying just on Monday how much you respected Dusty.
Yeah.
And now you're saying this is very hypocritical.
Yeah. It's almost like he on Monday he was saying, I don't mind that you're a Nepo baby. I'd never had that issue with you at all. But maybe he actually does have an issue. The fact that he was a Nepo baby that had everything handed to him.
So Punk got cocky in this process, got Cody up for the GTS, walked around with him, looked at the sign. It was a bit much for me. And then Cody got out of it and just threw Punk out.
That's it, yeah. Cody last year was inevitable in terms of him winning, because we all knew he was heading towards the Roman match. At least that's what we all figured. And it was kind of the same here, but the inevitability almost, I think, worked against it. The inevitability worked last year, but I think the inevitability hindered this finish somewhat. And then afterwards, like, we're not going to have any, is he going to choose Roman? Is he going to choose Seth? Because at the end of it, while he's celebrating, it's like, Roman, I choose you.
Yeah.
You know, points up, and I thought Roman's selling of that was great. They didn't show Seth being disappointed that no one cares about his title, but I thought the selling of Roman was dead good.
Yeah. Maybe have a shorter match at the end. No need to go 8 minutes at the end of this match.
No, I don't think so.
Which felt a bit long anyway.
Yeah.
Overall, Royal Rumble, I enjoyed the show. I gave it 80%, so that's roughly 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm in the 3.
Maybe 3.5 out of 5. Now we're talking about it.
I think I'm at 3, and that's pretty much all for the Women's Rumble.
Yeah.
Because the Fatal 4-Way did very little for me. Like, the Owens... Actually, the Owens-Logan match was very good, and I really enjoyed the finish of that. But yeah, very mid-Men's Rumble. If we were to do a TLC list about worst Rumbles or, best Rumbles, the Men's Rumble's never going to feature on my worst list. It wasn't a worst ever Rumble. It's a Rumble I'll never watch again.
Let's get over to our remaining... I said Omega Chats. Ultra Chats. We're going to go through these quite quickly because, we're sleepy boys.
Ollie wants to go home and have a Domino's pizza.
And watch the Marvels. Going to hate watch the Marvels for the first time. Maybe I like it. Doubt I will, though.
I doubt you will.
Jimmy G has been a member for 28 months. Was at the watch party. Got home fine, Luke, thanks. Had a great night last night. Should have swapped Rumbles over. Women's was better. Jam that jam.
That's what we were all saying. So we all left, at 5 a.m. We're all leaving the pub and stuff. And that was the general chatter outside, was like, man, the women's really should have main evented this show. And I did say to people, I was like, if you're watching tomorrow, make sure you watch chat and let me know you got home safe. Which is why Jimmy got in touch there.
Nice way to get money from the fans.
Yeah, Marks.
Mayor of Painesville, Dan Memberg for 3 months in a row. Hello, Ollie and Luke. Welcome to Team Tired. Personally, both Rumbles were okay, in my opinion. TNA and WWE? Surely this is leading to a Brian Myers WrestleMania match. I thought we'd see Matt Cardona in the Men's Rumble.
But no, that would have been exciting. and I don't think that's not what this Rumble was going for.
Chris Thornton really enjoyed the show. Storyline-driven Rumbles are much more enjoyable than lots of old-timers having pointless spots. Both Rumbles made sense and had plenty of memorable moments that gave storyline directions for the coming weeks. Finish the story, Cody.
I mean, that is a very good point in this. And I was saying this after the show and stuff. I'm so glad that Cody won. Like, that for me is completely the right choice. If Cody is finishing the story at Mania, I don't want him getting that through Chamber.
Yeah. Win
the Royal Rumble, pick Roman Reigns, and you build this story now for the next few months as he gets to WrestleMania. It's what I wanted. And so storyline wise, great, and I love that. I think bell to bell, it was not a particularly exciting Rumble.
Jonathan Hedman, Memberg for 29 months. Hello, you wonderful people. Had a fun time pretending I was at the watch party along with you guys. What's next for CM Punk and TNA? Get some sleep. Punk's not going to TNA.
No. He's not going back to those hallowed halls.
Imagine if, Cody didn't point at either of them and called out, who's the TNA? Moose. Not actually Tesco. Memberg for 12 months. Well, all right, lads. Guten Tag. Thought the pay-per-view was bloody brilliant on the whole, except for the bias in me fuming that Tegan Knox didn't get more time.
Yeah.
Matt, a 4 out of 5 show. I will say I do wish Hunter handled the press conference better. I criticised Tony Khan for his handling of Jericho allegations in the press conference last month. Got to do the same with Hunter. I can sympathise because he's been put in a difficult situation that's not his fault. He could have handled it better rather than say, I want to focus on the positives, not the negatives, by saying given the nature of the situation, legally I can't comment on it. I respect Hunter and by all reports employees, talent and even the media seem to love the guy and be very high on him, but I'm disappointed in how he handled the situation and answered the question. That aside, great show, really excited for WrestleMania and for Cody Rhodes to finish the story.
Yeah, I think Trips would have benefited from being prepared. He had the attitude of someone who didn't expect to get asked the questions.
Yeah. But a lot of respect, though, to the people who did ask the questions. Well done. Brandon Thurston, John Alba.
John Alba,
and someone else, I think. Benzie, just here to say thank you guys for the awesome watch-along party. Love every part of it. I was the guy in the front row in front of Dan during Survival Series. It was an absolute blast being there with you all. You guys have helped with keeping me updated with wrestling during the bad parts of the last few years. Since where I live, nobody really seems to care about wrestling. Much love to you all. Hopefully I can get your photo with you next time.
Yeah, I hope so.
Red, white, and black. Words can't even express how disappointed I was last night when Cody won. Punk and Cody, who are the most mid-ass, I guess, overrated wrestlers in the world, were the final two. Now we'll get to see Cody and Roman again, where he will predictably win. Terrible booking.
I think I would disagree, but, I don't... I respect your opinion.
Yeah, I think, but you got to recognize you're in the minority there. So to just outright call it terrible booking, what you actually mean is, I'm not into this booking.
Yeah.
I think objectively, this is very logical booking.
Yeah. I'll hot tag across, give you a voice arrest. Chance Gray, let me paint you a picture. Hogan comes out to Raw to say one more match. He challenges Cody for the main event versus Roman. Hulk squashes Cody and goes on to Mania to beat Roman. He then breaks Bruno's record and vacated it because no one can beat Hogan, brother.
I mean, why not? He's not controversial, is he?
No. He was all over this show as well.
Yeah, it was so weird.
4 years of Hulkamania, man. Ket, I thought 2/3 of the Women's Rumble match was such a bore, but the final 20 minutes was great. Glad Bayley and Cody won. Cody better finish that story. I can't take another year of Roman being champion. I mean, what's interesting on that one there is that, you don't want to pin Randy this early. Well, you're not doing it at Chamber because, Roman's not going to Chamber, which means if Cody does finish the story, then you're just not going to do Roman and Randy.
Yeah, but you could have Cody versus Roman. That's a good match.
Cody versus Roman. Oh, Cody versus
Randy. Sorry.
Yeah. Roman Dietrich. Hey, guys. 3 things to say. Firstly, on Sam's request from 2 Fridays ago, the ch in my name is pronounced like the hissing sound at the top of the throat, so you don't have to call out the S. Gonna miss Sat saying my name with his big voice. Second, thank you guys for the live broadcast. This wake up for work and the last 4 were on it. You made my day and energized me. Third, this pay-per-view was perfect. Cargill was awesome. The right people won the Rumbles, and Knight wasn't pinned. Wonderful evening.
Those Knight fans.
Yeah. Plasmapedia has been a member for 21 months in a row. Said, I thought the Rumble was great this year, but a step down from last year because I was there. I think Cody won because they're not sure about Seth.
Yeah, Brock, Rock, Seth's injury. Who knows how many moving parts there were this week.
Yeah.
Change things.
Miles Strong, thank you for an awesome night, guys. Hopefully I'll see you at Elimination Chamber. Boop was at the show. The pops in person were wild, but I keep hearing people say that we weren't that loud. So I wonder if there was something that didn't play nice with the building acoustics or bad sound crew. Also, that Roman match sucked. Psychic here says, Jade Cargill can snap my neck in half and I'd say thank you. In all seriousness, no, I love this show. Probably Roman's best match since Mania.
Whoa, that's big.
Yeah, because he had the tag match at Money in the Bank, which was way better.
Yeah. He wasn't at Backlash, was he? But Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank. The 2 tag matches he had, in fact, the one with Owens and Zayn was better as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he's had a good match since Money in the Bank.
And the Usos match?
But that was the Money in the Bank.
That was the... Oh, right, sorry.
Because then it's SummerSlam, which I didn't think was very good, and the LA Knight match, which was quite boring. We haven't finished Psychic's thing here. Really big fan of faking out with the interference instead of booking it as the ending again. I've been watching wrestling since the year Daniel Bryan won at Mania, and I've never been more excited for the company's future, even more so without Vince. Thank you for your coverage of WWE all this time. Stephen Costa has been a member for 20 months in a row. Says, hi guys, did I leave my voice at the pub? I lost it sometime last night. Anyway, what a night for the Women's Rumble. Thanks for last night, guys. Jam that jam.
Lovely to see you, Stephen.
Quote the Raven 79. Michael Cole says, if you don't like Reigns not defending the belt, beat him. How can I beat him if you don't book him? That's rubbish. Oh, by the way, 2 winners at the 94 Rumble. What's your product, Cole?
Yeah, so Michael Cole, I think Pat McAfee asked Cole at one point.
Yeah.
Has there ever been any 2 winners of the Rumble before? Michael Cole just went, nope.
Yeah, no, quite famously, Michael Cole. There has been. Ryan here says, I really hope the Women's Rumble does end up having 2/3 non-title singles matches at Mania. I was doing some research and I believe there hasn't been a non-title singles match between two women that wasn't a gimmick match. WrestleMania 22 in 2006 was the last non-title singles match between Tori Wilson and Candice Michelle, but that was a Playboy pillow fight and it lasted 6 minutes and 54 seconds. More attention should be given to these amazing women who proved last night that they are insanely talented. A title should never define whether they should or not. A title should never define whether they should get their own feud going into Mania. Some of the best feuds ever existed going into Mania have been without a title. Let's hope that women get more attention going into this one.
Well, I think a Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair does not need a title.
Nope, absolutely not. Joe Nero West said, I have some complaints, fellas. Cody shouldn't have won the Rumble. I'm just not a fan of back-to-back Rumbles, especially to build the same match at Mania. If they must do Cody Roman again, find another way. Should have been Punk win and choose Seth's belt. 2. If you have a Raw guy, he's avoided Seth's belt all year, chasing the SmackDown belt. That's what it's. You have a Raw guy avoiding Seth's belt all year, chasing the SmackDown belt. I'm not a fan. Love Cody, not the story. Want more positivity? Loved R-Truth.
Yeah.
Loved Jay's debut. Bayley winning. Usos at 1 and 2. Naomi's return. Kyrie on the apron. I was there live.
Was it clear how she held on then?
Steven here says, Cody is on fire. He's more over than he was this time last year. Roman winning last year was the right call. Jay and Cody benefited. Yes, Roman is stale, but I still think it was the right call.
It feels like it might have been.
Yeah. Miles here said, hey guys, saw the review and wanted to say the crowd noise was louder in the arena than it came through on camera. Biggest spots were for Truth, Cody, and Punk. I mean, that's your thing, because you thought the reaction for Punk was fairly muted. Evan Reich said, I wasn't sure if Cody was going to win because of The Rock's head of the table promo. Who knew he meant Vince's spot at the table? Cheers, let's finish the story.
The table was the board of directors.
I'm not going to be the guy that was like, told you so. But when Rock said his thing on day one, I said, no, I was like, he's not having a match with Roman at Mania. He's just not. Because I've heard Rock do this promo like 5 times now. Like, it's not going to happen anytime soon. Although, reports are... I mean, Dave Meltzer and Brian Alves were just talking about this on Wrestling Observer Radio. But Dave was like, it's not happening at Mania. But it is going to happen this year. We can't really talk about where, but conversations are happening. But I can't quite speak to it now, which suggests to me it's a Saudi match.
Oh, yeah.
Quality Greed says, Jordynne Grace looked amazing coming out of this. Funny enough, similar to the guy who attacked Seth that one time. My brother that I was watching this was scammed by a Grace scam account, so we had a proper laugh about it when she came out. He loves her. Oh, that's so sad. Moose, TNA champion Moose. Last year, I didn't care much about Cody winning because he only had one feud, then immediately won the Rumble. This time, since he's been on screens for a year, I'm actually excited for the next couple of months. And Donald Lucy has become a member.
Yeah, to Moose, the adversity was real. We mocked it, but it's not really adversity, but there's certainly been character growth, and he's got a moreover.
What feuds did he have?
The Brock feud. He won the tag titles. Nakamura.
I'll give you that one, yeah.
Rumble. Promo with Punk.
Yeah, he feuded with Brock for 6 months, had a little mini feud with Dominic Mysterio in that, then did another little mini feud with Dominic Mysterio that sort of span off into feuding with the Judgment Day. And then it's Nakamura at the end of the year. Right at the end of the year, no less.
Well, that's all we've got time for. Thank you ever so much for everyone who's joined us over the last couple of days and the whole week, actually. What a crazy, crazy week it's been for WWE. Please do subscribe to the WrestleTalk Podcast channel and also go over to WrestleTalk, the WrestleTalk News channel, because Luke's going to have a news video going up very soon. But for now, I've been Ollie Davis. It's been Luke and DAD. Jam that jam.